We're talking Ball State. Don Shondell and Ray McCallum talking Ball State. Nate Davis and Bonzi Wells. Schumann, Bell Tower, and Worthen. Fans all over from Muncie to Berlin. Getting Concannons, Carters, and Greeks. All right, everyone out there in Cardinal land, how we doing tonight? You are here live for another edition of Ball State of the Union, your number one Ball State football podcast. By the fans, for the fans. We're talking current headlines, exclusive interviews with Cardinal athletes and coaches, and fun off-the-wall debates that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. And as always, when you hear that wonderful, beautiful song and that beautiful voice, you know that we are about to be talking Ball State. I'm John, your host, as always, joined by Colin from Ball State Football Talk. Colin, it's been a long bye week. We've been waiting for some football. We're about there. How have you been doing since we last spoke?
Doing pretty great. Super excited for this game. I'm going to be there, Cardinal Nation. So if you're going to come to the Ohio Ball State game, there will be Willie Snead in attendance and your boy, Ball State Football Talk.
Speaking of Willie Snead, he should be joining us about 9 p.m. tonight. So stay tuned and we'll see Willie Snead also be joined with a pre-recorded interview with our very own head coach, Mike Uremovich, at the end of the show. So again, we are live. We're live right now on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube as always. So if you have any questions for anyone you see on the show tonight about anything you want to talk about, put them in the chats on those respective channels, and we will get to them at the end of the show. All right, two things before we get to our first special guest of the night. As always, Colin, we do this every week, and we're going to keep doing it every week because we love them. Our Ball State of the Union is partnering with The Shop Indy. That is www.theshopindy.com. You buy anything from their website and you use that code right there, BS Union. That is code BS Union, and you're going to get free shipping on your order. Again, Ball State stuff, check. Colts, check. Pacers, check. Indiana Fever, who took a tough loss last night, check. Begrudgingly, they have Indiana, Purdue, Butler. Don't know why you'd want that, but they got it. Anyways, use code BS Union and you will get free shipping. And Colin, I'm actually wearing one of my shop shirt right now. It's that top left one right there. Ooh,
okay.
I love it. Great shirt, as always. So again, that's code BS Union and you'll get free shipping on anything that you order. And another piece of business. As always, Ball State is a proud member of the College Huddle. The College Huddle is, a community of independently made college sports podcasts. And we just recently become a member. And actually, Colin, our membership is now starting to show some dividends because we actually have a special guest on who's also a member of the College Huddle. Please welcome us. Please welcome our friend from the Mid-American Conference. He is the host of the Bobcat Corner, correct? None other than Steven Vitte. Steven, how are we doing tonight?
Doing good. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much, guys, for having me on for the show.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on, Steven. We're doing great. It's not easy to find other Mid-American Conference fan-made podcasts. So when we found that the Ohio Bobcats had one, the Bobcat Corner made by you, we were very excited. So, Steven, before we jump in to this matchup, first MAC game for Ball State, obviously, Ohio has one under the belt already, but Ball State's first one. Before we jump into that, why don't you just tell us a little bit about how you started the Bobcat Corner and what was your mission and why did you really want to cover things about, Ohio, basically?
Well, there's like an interesting backstory to that. Initially, I started Bobcat Corner, this podcast of mine, back in February 2024. And obviously, I picked a good year to do it because look what happened last year for the Bobcats. Had no idea that was going to happen. But even leading up to that, to 2024, I had been a college football fan all my life. I actually started out in my childhood. I started out as an Ohio State Buckeyes fan, but eventually certain twists and turns led me to switching colors to the green and white instead of scarlet and gray. Big story back there. But yeah, Bobcat Corner, it's been such a good ride for me so far. Again, I didn't know last year was going to be the way it was, but yeah, I've been thankful to be making all this content for Bobcat Corner.
Yeah, and so like I said, we appreciate you coming on. It's great to see you again, another content creator from someone in the Mid American Conference. Now, when you switched to becoming an Ohio fan, basically instead of Ohio State,
Mhm.
did people tell you to go see a doctor? Did they tell you what did people say when you told them that, hey, Ohio State, 10, 11 wins every year, being national championship contender, that's all great and all, but I need some midweek action. What did people say when you made this change?
Not many people said much at all to me because I've always been an outsider.
Mhm.
In 1989, I was born in Columbus, Ohio. I've been surrounded by Buckeyes almost all my life, so I've heard about all the hype about Ohio State. But and I did not make the switch because of animosity or anything like that. It was just that I've always found myself rooting more for the underdog, rooting for David in David versus Goliath, and of course, in all this in the state of Ohio, the Ohio Bobcats would be looked at as a David kind of school. So naturally, it just fit.
Okay. And so Ball State and Ohio, obviously they have a rich history, both being in the MAC for a long time. So Ball State, unfortunately, has not beaten Ohio since 2012. That's back when I was in school. I was a sophomore at the time. So 5-game losing streak. Last year, obviously, you're alluding to their season last year. Ball State lost at Ohio by a score of 42-21. But Ball State does lead the all-time series, 15 games to 13 games, which I figured with both teams being in the MAC so long that they would have played a little bit more than that. But such is life, I suppose. So, Steven, tell me a little bit about this year's Ohio's team. Like, what's your read on the Ohio Bobcats so far through the 2025 season?
Well, so far for throughout the first 5 games of the regular season, the Ohio Bobcats they look to be on schedule, so to speak, when it comes to their offense. They look to be just fine working on offense. My main concern right now would be their defense, especially their run defense. They've been, for the most part, they've been slow at the start of games. They haven't been able to clamp down on the running game. So that's going to be a concern of mine still. But as far as their offense goes, they look great. Parker Navarro, it can't be stated enough about him. He's a dual threat quarterback. Uh, he's been just, phenomenal at times. I mean, yes, ball security issues still, but yeah, stats here for Parker Navarro, you know, passing 1,078 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Yeah, but 52 rushes, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, just good stuff.
So, yeah, Park Navarro, a name everybody knows out there for sure. Who's been the biggest surprise for Ohio so far this year, in your opinion?
Biggest surprise, I'm going to keep it to the offense. Just one guy I want to shout out right now. Yeah, that'd be tight end Mason Williams. He's been picking it up the last couple games. 14 receptions, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns for the entire year. He's going to be a guy who's going to be developing into more of a center stage kind of player. So, yeah, Mason Williams would be one guy I'd look at.
Okay. Now, on the flip side, what's been maybe the biggest challenge for Ohio so far this year? I know you're talking about the run defense. Would it be that, or is it maybe something else?
It's not just the run defense. Another part of it would be sometimes that I've noticed this in games where it has like blown coverages for the Bobcats, like they miss their assignments on deep routes sometimes. I have seen that too. But my main concern still is that run defense because especially in the first and second quarters of games, I've noticed that the Bobcats just give up big runs time and again early on in the game. And that is a concern because we got to start clamping down on that.
Yeah, and Ball State, for the struggles that they have had, can run the ball pretty well, and they have some big time guys who can get those big time runs. And so, that's something for Ball State fans to look out there for. Obviously, Ohio can pass the ball really well. So if we're going to be in a scenario where we're, down points, we're not going to be able to run the ball as well theoretically. But if for some reason this game is close, maybe that's something that Ball State could look into, exploiting. So I know Colin had a handful of questions as well he wanted to get to.
Yeah. Yes, Stephen. What would you say the identity of Ohio football has been in general? And then has that changed this year with the new head coach? Has anything changed with the new head coach, Stephen? Let's start there.
To answer that question, no, not really. I mean, I know that going into this season, there was a lot made of former head coach Tim Albin switching over to Charlotte, become their new head coach. But really, there's really not much of a change at all. Brian Smith, our new head coach, he's been doing a good job, and he's kept the offense, the identity of it, the same as it's always been, especially the last few years. It's an RPO offense still, repass option, play fakes, letting the quarterback Parker Navarro do his thing as usual. So not much of a change.
Defensively, Steven, is the front seven stronger or is the secondary stronger?
Oh, no doubt the secondary is stronger. There's more experience in general back there in the secondary. Uh, there again, concern with the front seven, front six on defense. Just relatively new players getting to know each other and to play well together. That's still a work in progress.
How do they line up on defense? And then also, what have they excelled at on the defensive side?
Um, whether they excelled at defense, just being able to make adjustments. One thing I can say for sure is that in the second half, there is more of a clamping down kind of thing going on with the Bobcats on defense. Defense coordinator John Hauser, he knows how to make those proper adjustments on defense, and I've noticed that in games too, where yes, we started out slow, but then we started really picking it up in the second half.
Okay. So I want to touch on Ball State versus Ohio this weekend coming up here. When you look at Ball State, Steven, what stands out to you about this team from the outside looking in?
Yeah, when I look at Ball State and the feeling I get when it comes to this game here on Saturday, if I'm Ball State, I'm definitely looking at giving my running back the football. Definitely have to give him the football so he can run it many times. Uh, that goes for any opponent that the Bobcats face. Is that our defense has got to prove that we can shut down the running game, and I won't be surprised if opponents keep giving their running backs the football every time to start the game.
And then where do you think Ohio has the advantage over Ball State?
Uh, when it comes to offense versus defense, I'm definitely confident in what we can do on offense. It's definitely clear to me that we know what we're doing on offense. We have Parker Navarro, of course. We have C.A. Bangura, running back. I need to mention him. He's been doing great. 84 rushes for 421 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. And even running back number 2, Duncan Brune, I'm paying attention to him because the development of him as the second running back is critical for our offense in general. Duncan Brune, 47 rushes, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns. So when you get all those guys going in the running game, it just works.
Okay, and Steven, my last question is, I did a little bit of research on your page, if you will. I had a question from one of your past videos. Why did you pick this as a loss for Ohio in your preseason preview? And do you still feel that way?
Uh, yeah. When I did that, that was some time ago before the season even started. And that was just like a gut feeling of mine. It's like, even now, when I look at the matchup now, on paper, I do believe the Bobcats are the better team. However, I'm also a believer in any given college football day, and I'm thinking this game's at Muncie. The home team is Ball State. I I still get an odd feeling that Ball State is really going to get up for this game. They're going to wake up for this game. They're going to be like hyped up, fired up. I keep getting that feeling. I don't even know why. I don't have evidence of that, but I have that feeling. So it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, Bobcats should probably win, but I won't be surprised if something happens and it goes the other way for the Cardinals.
It's a
Yeah,
trap game, maybe.
yeah, MAC games are always close. It seems like you could be the best team, you could be the worst team. It seems like these games always end up somewhat being close. And Ball State is coming off a bye, so we were able to get some guys healthy that were banged up, even though it's only 4 weeks in. So again, it's hard to tell, especially going into the season, because these rosters flip over so much. I know Ohio's didn't flip over as much as most people's did, but so yeah, gut feeling is kind of how I pick these games too. Colin likes to try and get in the weeds and find stuff, but I'm more of a gut feeling guy if you pick these things beforehand. So I'm with you on that. All right, Steven. So if you had to boil down, what are like the 3 main keys, the three things, if Ohio is to win this game, which obviously they're a decent sized favorite here, what are the three things Ohio has to do to ensure they leave Muncie with a win?
Well, the first key that I would point out would be on offense. The Ohio Bobcats have got to strike early, at least get some points on, even if it's a field goal or two. Just start putting pressure on Ball State that way. Score some points early. Start setting the tone for the game. That would be one key. And I do think with our offense, we can be able to do that. Secondly, and I've mentioned this a lot here tonight, our run defense has got to show up much earlier than making those second half adjustments. We've got to prove to any opponent, whether it's Ball State or anybody, we got to prove that we can shut down the running game early. And throughout these 5 games, for most of them, we have not shown that yet. So that's going to be a critical key there. And third key is maybe not highlighted a lot, but I've also noticed that on special teams, the Bobcats have had issues on special teams because we've been going back and forth on kickers. It's either been Brack Peacock or David Dellenbach kicking field goals for us. We've had issues with that, even with PATs, with points after touchdowns. So we got to shore up some things on special teams as well, because sometimes things break down there.
Yeah, brother, tell me about it. We've had some bad special teams games this year so far. Like we almost lost to New Hampshire earlier in the year because it was like the worst special teams game I've ever seen. But so I feel you there. All right, let's do predictions. Let's get our official predictions. Steven, I don't know if you gamble or take betting lines into effect, but basically Ball State plus 15.5 in this game, which I have an interesting thought on that when I get to me, and the over under is 51.5. So Colin, you can pick the spread, you can pick whatever you want, or you can just say who you think is going to win, what the score might be.
Yeah, so this was a tough one for me because, I always want to take Ball State, just that homer in me. But Steven said it himself. Steven picked Ball State. I'm going to roll with the man that knows the most on the Bobcats. I'm going Ball State wins 28-24 in a close one.
All right, Steven, what about you? I know you picked Ball State preseason on the gut. You're picking now with a little bit more information. What do you think?
Well, I made that pick before the season started, and I know it's kind of crazy for me to do this, but I do have to change my outlook on that.
Okay.
Knowing what we know now through the first 5 games, I do still expect the Ball State Cardinals to show up for this game. I do expect them to make things very interesting. But I do think, knowing what I know about the Bobcats now, I do think they're going to find a way to pull away to win this game. Pretty close still. I'm thinking 10, 17 points, that kind of game. So a score, actually, probably let's go with something like 31-21, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my thought, which I thought was this is interesting. We played UConn before the bye week. I think we were plus like 21.5 or something like that, Colin. We're plus 15.5. I think Ohio is a better team than UConn personally, so I don't really understand why this number is less than that would be. I would assume it had been higher. So I think Ohio ultimately ends up winning this game. I think Ball State cannot defend the pass well enough against the passing attack they're going to see this weekend. So again, we run the ball really well, but in these scenarios where you're playing a team who can just strike quick and can pass the ball well, it's going to be tough for us to really establish the run the game that we want. I do think we cover this 15.5. I think I'm basically just going to take Ball State to cover every single game from here on out because I think they're 3-1 against the spread so far this year. So I'm going to take Ball State to cover, but unfortunately, I do think that Ohio will win. I'll say it's kind of a high scoring game, though. I'll say it's like 38-30. I'll say Ohio 38-30. Okay, a couple more things before we let you go, Steven. This game, I want your thoughts as a fellow MAC, connoisseur here. This game's on CBS Sports Network. Colin has some big issues with CBS Sports Network. Do you have a preference for these MAC games between either being on ESPN or CBS?
Well, it's funny about broadcasting because I've had issues lately with ESPN Plus, and that's not to promote or praise CBS by any means, but ESPN Plus is like we have a current media deal with ESPN Plus that runs out on 2027, I believe.
Mhm.
I'm just not a fan of how the MAC is being presented as a conference in general, and
Mhm.
that kind of worries me. So I really don't have a preference when it comes to broadcasting, but ESPN Plus, I'm personally not a fan of ESPN Plus, to be honest with
Okay.
you.
So you have a problem with how they're being presented. What issues do you have, and maybe what do you hope to that's fixed with this new media rights deal, which wherever it may be?
Yeah, I'm hoping that eventually, I know it's not an overnight process, but I'm hoping eventually that we can start slowly getting away from midweek matching kind of stuff. Not as much, at least,
Mhm.
because that might be playing a part into why we're having like low ratings. So if it's more like Thursday, Friday night, maybe kind of games, then that might be better for us. But yeah,
Steven, let me throw an idea out there to you, and
okay.
I just came up with this on the fly here, and you tell me what you think. All right. Instead of playing, let's say two midweek games later in the year, what if we only play one midweek game and everyone in the conference plays in week 0? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think even that would be better
Mhm.
compared to what we have now. Yeah.
Yeah, say I'm trying to get Ball State to be the week 0 team. I don't know if it's going to take off or not. I think Western Michigan is actually playing in week 0 next year against Michigan and Ireland or somewhere. But um, yeah,
I got a
interesting.
take on this, John.
All right, what's your take? Let's hear it.
So while I definitely don't like ESPN Plus as well, Steven, I feel like if I just pay them the money, like you got to pay the monthly due to have the plus to be able to watch these games. I feel like if I pay them the money when when it's time for the game to start, they're ready. Like you can just turn it on. The problem with CBS Sports Network or whatever is I'm ready to watch the game. I have the special app. I have the cable that you need to get into this thing. And when you try to log in to watch the thing, they want you to watch the end of whatever game before you can watch
Hmm.
your actual game. And at least ESPN, like I don't like ESPN, but at least they're like, okay, the game starts, we're ready. What I would prefer is what if the Mac, and you can tell me if you like this or you don't like this, Steven, but what if the Mac made a deal with, say, TNT and all of our games were on HBO Max?
Hmm.
What would you think about that?
I think that'd be a great idea. I honestly do.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
like that better than the other ones.
Yeah. I mean, anything other than ESPN, eventually, that'd be great by me.
Yeah,
Okay.
because unless ESPN Plus gets just fully integrated into Disney Plus, I feel like going to one of those main, you know, Paramount Plus, uh, HBO, like you saying, somewhere where a lot more people are going to have and they could stumble upon it. Like
Right.
if you're a sports fan and you're on ESPN, you're already a sports fan. Like you're not a new fan out there. I don't know how many new fans you're really going to find there, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's going to be fans watching, but to grow, I think I don't know. I'm rambling now,
Yeah,
but
people turn on HBO Max every day. You're looking at Peacemaker, you're looking at the DC movies, you're looking at 90 Day Fiance with your girl. You know what I mean? Like they have everything on HBO Max. So you just turn it on like you turn it on every day. And oh, look, what is that? Ball State, Ohio is playing and it's Wednesday night. It's like, all right, I'll click on that and see what the game is. Like, I feel like that's a good app to maybe partner with for the Mac.
okay.
Exactly.
Now, Stephen, we usually save our listener questions for the end of the show, but you actually have a couple specifically for you here. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring them up right now. So you should feel honored. Our guests usually don't get too many questions
Okay.
here, but it's our friend Shay Kramer, who's actually on the show this past Sunday. Shout out Shay. Stephen, Muncie is considered the Las Vegas of Indiana. What are some great spots to hit in Athens?
Great spots to hit in Athens. Oh, for some reason, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I was not expecting that question. Hold on.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, we got another one, and
Yeah,
if it
I got
comes
it.
to you,
I'm
if it
sorry,
comes to
Shay.
you,
It drew blanks on that.
all right. Well, how about
Oh
this,
man.
Stephen? Who do you think is the greatest Ohio Bobcat of all time,
Oh shoot. Greatest Ohio Bobcat of all time.
or even just your favorite?
Oh, just my favorite. Man, I think when all is said and done, uh, if he plays it out next year, because I think he might have another year of eligibility next year, it could very well be Parker Navarro, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
He's really set the tone for the Ohio Bobcats going forward
he's a
as that
dog.
star.
He's a dog. I love watching him play. Um, he's a stone cold killer. One of our last questions for you, Steven. I went through the STV Castle. If anybody's listening right now, check out Steven's website or his YouTube spot, STV Castle, all
Right.
one word. Otherwise, it'll try to like throw you to something else. You don't want that. You want Steven Vitz. Um, while I was watching those videos, something popped out at me. You had an interview with Tony Reale 13 days ago. How exactly did that come about? How did you land that interview? And what did you think of him?
Well, I initially sent an email to Tony Reale a few months ago. Actually, it was just like a shot in the dark. I didn't know if he was going to answer me or not. Uh, I was just curious as to what he was up to because Around the Horn got canceled recently, and so I was like, okay, what is Tony Rowley up to? So I was like, okay, check his website. Then, oh, you can email him. So I just did it and wondered if he wanted to be interviewed. So he responded to me first back then, saying, yeah, get back to me towards the end of summer, and then I did. And then after that, then he said, yeah, sure, I'll be on your show. And so put two and two together, and then here we are being,
Yeah,
interviewed.
it was a great interview, Steven. It was a great interview. He's super personable, super positive, always smiling. I really liked it, and I'm impressed with your channel in general, Steven. It's really good, especially for you to be doing this all alone. You don't
Oh
have a
yeah,
co-host. It's
That's
just
tough.
you going out there. People don't know how hard that is. Guys like Colin Coward are really talented. Just to do that alone, it's incredibly hard.
it is. Yeah. As you guys would notice, I'm just a one-man show. I don't have a big production crew around me. I'm just winging this as much as I can. So, especially it's challenging when you're trying to put out content out there on YouTube. It's like, okay, it's just you. What can you do, Steven, to make this interesting? And I'm always challenging myself with graphic design, with video editing. I'm always challenging myself, pushing myself to be better, to put out better content. And so, yeah, it's been a wild ride for me. And by the way, STV Castle, the the reason why it's called that is that's my initials, Stephen Timothy Vitt, STV
Mhm.
Castle. So no real
Okay.
mystery there. So yeah.
All right,
Keep
perfect.
going.
Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but when you did interview Tony Reale, did you take any points away from him? Did you mute him? Did you do anything like that?
No, I did not have a mute button. I can't afford one right now. So yeah.
All
No,
right,
I mean it was fun. It was
all
fun.
right, perfect. All right, well, Steven, so people can find you on YouTube and Instagram. What is the name again?
My YouTube channel is called STV Castle, all capitalized STV, well, capital C and then Castle lowercase. STV Castle, one word, like Colin said. And my Instagram, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I plan on updating my Instagram account a little bit more. It's as you see here, stv.castle. So
Perfect. All right. Well, Steven, we really appreciate your time. Best of luck to Ohio the rest of the year, except for this weekend. Yeah, again, it's great to connect with you as a fellow, again, Mid American Conference podcast maker, and hopefully we'll work together again down the road.
thank you so much, John. Thank you so much, Colin, for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Yep. All right. You have a
Thanks
good
for
one,
coming.
Steven, and we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
All righty. All righty. That was Stephen Castle, host of, or Stephen Vitt, excuse me, host of the Bobcat Corner. Joining us now, Ball State legend, soon to be Ball State Hall of Famer, the one, the only, Mr. Willie Sneed. Willie, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? You guys hear me? All
Yep,
good?
we can hear you.
Yep.
We can hear you good. Willie, we just wrapped up talking some Ohio Bobcats with a fellow content creator out there. Give me your initial thoughts on Ohio real quick before we jump into the news.
Yeah. Much respect to the Ohio Bobcats. They've always been tough year in and year out, so it's a respectable program. Obviously, they won the MAC last year, so they're coming in off some good momentum from last year, and especially getting the win over West Virginia this season. So it's going to be a good challenge. I'm excited for the opportunity of our Cardinals to go out there and play. It's going to take championship football to beat these guys. So I'm excited to get to experience that in person
That's right.
for this Hall of Fame weekend.
That's right. So Willie and Colin will both be there this weekend. We'll get to that a little bit more here in just a few minutes. But first, let's get to some news. Not a ton of news. It's kind of a quiet a bye week, so I assume that's probably a good thing. But there is a couple of things I wanted to touch on real quick and get your guys' thoughts on. So the first thing, if people are interested in going to any Ball State games the rest of the year, Ball State football and Ball State just in general has released some ticket deals, basically. So they got a mini plan deal that came out, so you can get tickets to 4 home games. So that's going to be the November 15th game against Kent State and the game against Eastern Michigan. Those are so 2 games, and then 2 volleyball games as well, the weekend of November 13th and 14th. And then they also have the 1918 deal, which I'm not exactly sure what that even is. I assume it's something along the lines of getting tickets. Yeah, so you can get 2 general admission tickets for $19.18. So 1918, obviously the year Ball State became a college. So Colin, I'll start with you. There's not much you can do out there for $20 nowadays. So 1918, 2 tickets to the game. What do you think about that?
So you get 2 tickets for 1 game for $20, or you get 2 tickets for 2 games for $20.
So there's 2 different deals. There's the mini plan deal. That's 2 football games, 2 volleyball games, and this 1918 deal. So you get 2 general admission tickets for the game against Ohio this weekend for $19.18. So 2 people can go for under $20.
Wait a second. John, I got to break this down because I'm going to Willie's Hall of Fame ceremony this Friday. Can't wait to support. But they threw this thing when you buy the tickets to go to this dinner thing for Willie's ceremony. They're like, do you want to add a ticket onto the cost of this or whatnot? So I said, yeah, me and my wife were going. We bought 2 tickets. 1 ticket on there, John, on that thing through Willie's Hall of Fame ceremony was $20 for 1 ticket.
Now those
so
could
either
they
got over. Go ahead.
Say that these are general admission seats, so you might have some good seats this weekend. Actually.
Oh, okay.
So that could be.
I was gonna say they might have got over on me, but I'm gonna support the team regardless. It's not even about that. But this is a great deal. Then, if I pay $20 for 1 ticket, and you can pay $19.18 for 2 tickets, you know it's a steal.
That's right. Willie, you got a big old family. For some reason, you were taking them all to this game, and you had to buy tickets. You got to love this deal.
Little 2-for-1 action right there. You can't beat that, man.
That's right.
That's good. That's good attraction right there. That'll attract anybody who loves some football.
That's right. So yeah, again, if you're in the area and able to do so, get out there, support the team. Go check out a day of Ball State football in Muncie. You can't beat it. I love it. So one more thing before we jump into Willie, I have a couple questions for you about this weekend. So before we get to that, though. Boys, I know we talked about this on the last episode, and I was a little worried, but that worry is now gone as the red jerseys are officially making their debut this weekend. We hadn't seen them yet, but the red jerseys are here. Willie, is this a uniform fit for Willie Snead's Hall of Fame induction weekend? Uh-oh, I think he's frozen.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not frozen. Oh, I think he is.
Oh, maybe he is.
All right, Colin.
Right now.
All right, Colin, what do you think about this?
Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Uh-oh.
He's there. You hear it? Can you hear us?
Are they fired, Willie?
It's all right.
Oh, okay.
All right, Colin.
There's some technical difficulties on this end. Okay, I see it now.
Okay, you see it?
Oh yeah, those are fire, dude.
Those work
Red
for you?
tops, white pants. Yes, sir. Oh,
they look exactly like the stuff.
Yeah,
they look like classic. They look a classic like you would have worn.
Mm-hmm.
If you were wearing that this
like
weekend,
first home game type of attire.
That's right. If you were wearing those this weekend, Willie, and you were on the field, what's the stat line this weekend in that uniform?
We're going crazy. I give me a $120, about 6-7 catches, a tub. You know, I'm gonna be feeling good in that red, man. That red just, what do you call that? Cardinal red right there, John?
That's right. Cardinal and white right there. You got it. So yeah, I like it. I was a little worried. We hadn't seen the reds yet. We'd only seen the black and the white. So the red is back. Those worries have been quelled here. So
It's coming
All
out
right,
just in time, man. Just in time.
Yeah.
for sure. Okay. So Willie, before we have our interview with Coach Uremovich, we're going to get to towards the end of the show. But before we
Yeah.
get to that, obviously it's a big weekend for you. You're going into the Hall of Fame. So I had a couple questions I wanted to ask you about and kind of get your perspective, because it's not every day that you get to have, a future and now going to be an active member of a Hall of Fame. So I don't want to get too sentimental here, but here's kind of some thoughts I have. So when you look back on your time at Ball State, what are the moments that stand out the most that helped shape you into the player you ended up becoming?
I think the moments that really shaped me was like those days where it wasn't game day, like the days people never saw, like the winter workouts, the grind and heat of the summer workouts. I feel like those days really made me the player I am because there was a lot of work done behind the scenes. I just didn't have the God gift blessed talent to go out there and put up the numbers that I did. I had to actually work for those stats and for those accomplishments. And it all really happened in those winter workouts when we're waking up at 5 a.m., getting in the mat drills, and then coming back at 2 p.m. for a heavy lift day with Coach Feely. Those are the days that either made me or broke me. And when I look back, like those days really helped me push through to the player I was on the football field. Obviously, I could say like games like South Florida, my sophomore year when I made that great catch that made Sports Center top 10. It's like I can go back to those days or like a 200-yard game against Kent State, but it was really those days where I was getting it out the mud and nobody was around, nobody was watching. It was just me and my brothers out there grinding, helping each other up, and really preparing for a season where we knew we could do something special. So it was really those moments that I appreciate the most because it helped mold me into the player I was, and it determined whether I really wanted it or not. If I really wanted to be great or if I wanted to just be, get my college degree and be a football player and use my scholarship. So those days, man, those were more impactful than sometimes some of the games that we played in.
Hmm. And if anyone out there has any questions, similar questions you want to ask to Willie, put them in the chat where you're watching, and we'll get to them all at the end of the show. But a couple more for you here, Willie. So, they've been playing football at Ball State for over 100 years now. You're
Yeah.
going into the Hall of Fame. What does it feel like to be recognized with this Hall of Fame induction, being able to come back to campus and being, solidified as one of the best people to ever put on that Cardinal head?
Yeah, it's humbling. It's a blessing. I know when I first walked onto that campus, being a Hall of Famer was never in my mind. Be a Hall of Famer at Ball State, it was just me wanting to work, me to prove myself, and to help, bring back a winning mentality back to Ball State. And when I was there at the time, Ball State was, kind of up and down since their '09 season when they went undefeated and did great things. It was kind of just an up and down feel before I got there. And when I got there with Pete Lembo in my class, we just had that mentality to come in and win. And I wasn't really thinking about being a Hall of Famer. But when I look back, I'm just so grateful because I feel like I'm supposed to be like 50 before I receive something like this. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it really shows to me that how much Ball State really appreciated me and just wanted to recognize the accomplishments that I had there. And you never really think about it in the moment, but when I first heard the news, like I really just took like a whole hour, 2 hours to really just watch clips from when I was there and appreciate the work, the interviews, the highlights, just to reminisce on all those days at Ball State, man. It was so humbling. And I met my wife there, you know what I'm saying? Like there was so much that happened at Ball State to where I can just be so thankful and grateful that it helped me and molded me into the man that I am today because I never would have left my junior year if I didn't think I was ready to go
Hmm.
attack the world and to chase my dreams of playing in the NFL. Ball State helped me be that man, to be comfortable enough to go out there and face challenges because I faced challenges at Ball State. Like, those were behind the scenes, but they were challenges nonetheless. And I had to fight and grind through those. I had to overcome so much adversity, whether it was getting benched or getting hurt or just having a bad game and having to come back the next week and be better. It's just I was always tested, and I feel like those moments really helped me make the choice to leave Ball State when I did, because I would have stayed my senior year. I would have loved to, accomplish great things, but I feel like I did everything that I wanted to accomplish at Ball State. I feel like I reached the pinnacle of what I wanted to do, and I feel like the next chapter of my life was waiting on me.
Mhm.
But I never would have did that. I never would have took that step if Ball State didn't help me prepare me for that decision. If that makes sense of what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Um,
I got you.
it was truly humbling, man. So it's awesome, man. I just to think back and just to when I get out there on Friday and Saturday, it's gonna be like just a whole whirlwind of emotions, and I'm just excited, man. Like really excited and just appreciative of the people that made the decision to kind of to induct me this year. At the age I'm in, man, I'm 32, turning 33 in 2 weeks, so it's humbling and a blessing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, one of the things that stuck out when you were talking there was, saying you didn't expect this till you were, like 50 or something like that. And at the age you are now, I'll be honest, Willie, you probably would have been in sooner had you not played in the NFL for so long. They probably would have put you in a while back. I think they were just waiting for, theoretically a time where you could be there as well and join in on the celebration this weekend. So, speaking of the celebration this weekend, what's the itinerary for Mr. Sneed look like this weekend? When do you get to town? What you planning on doing? How's it going to go?
So yeah, I fly in Friday. I check in around 3:30, and we have a dinner ceremony, kind of a deal where that I kind of meet and greet people at like 5:30, and then 6 p.m. they have the dinner. Colin will be there,
There
repping
you
the
go.
gang, the Ball State of the Union. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be awesome. And then Saturday is gonna be a day where I'm just available to talk to fans, to spend some time with Coach U before the game, see the guys in the locker room, kind of just, feel my way around the facility again, man, and just kind of just reminisce on all the days and just the times that I had there. And I'm gonna have Horatio Banks with me there on Saturday. Ball State legend in his own right, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? One of the better
For
running
sure.
backs that came through. So it's that's kind of the itinerary, man. I'm just looking forward to a great weekend to see old buddies and to kind of just to live up the old moments I had, and obviously see Ball State pull out a dub
There you
against the
go.
reigning MAC champs, man. That's what I want to see out of everything.
I love it. All right. Last question before we get into our interview with Coach Uremovich. So, any of the current players that you might end up speaking to, what's like the main message you want to get across to them, whether it be, what Ball State can do for you or what just this time in college can do for them? What's kind of the main thing you want them to know from someone who's, walked this path already?
Yeah, I think I would tell, the guys that are currently there, man, it's just take each day as it comes, man, because this thing goes by way so fast. I was blessed and privileged to be able to leave my junior year, and a lot of guys don't have that opportunity. Some guys get to be there for 4 or 5 years, but it still goes fast in its own right. And I would just challenge guys to take every day and challenge and really get the most out of it, whether that's through class, on the field, practice field, whatever the case may be, man. Take the opportunity that Ball State is giving you. And I mean, they got it so much better than I did. Like just with everything they have around them now, it's grown so much. And I can only imagine. I haven't stepped on campus in like 6, 7 years. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And they've grown so much. And I just would want the guys to really take advantage of everything that Ball State has to offer, because Ball State is an amazing university. It's got great people that work for the university, and I've gotten to know a lot of people in that university that helped me achieve so much that I've accomplished today. So really just want to see the guys, the message I would give them, just take each day as it comes, man. Don't take any day for granted, because once it's gone, it's gone, and then you're a grown man living in the world. You can't go back,
Hmm.
and the way it's set up today, man, guys can play like for 7, 8 years, which is unbelievable. Playing college football that long, I could never imagine. Um, but in its own right, it goes by so fast, man. So really just want the guys to take advantage of every opportunity that Ball State has to offer and make the most of it, man, because when you look back, you just want to be proud. You want to be proud of everything you're taking advantage of. You never want to have any regrets. I don't have any regrets about what I've done at Ball State. You know, I would have loved to beat Northern Illinois a couple times and maybe
Yeah.
got to a MAC championship. That's probably one of the things I would change. But like just me living there and my experience and everything that Ball State gave me, I don't have any regrets. So, you know, never live with regret. Make the most of every opportunity and shoot, Ball State, man. It's all about the chirp chirp, baby. I love Ball State.
There we
So
go.
thankful for that university, man.
I love it. Yeah, and as someone who is in school the same time as you, watched you guys every week. Super well deserved honor. So I hope this weekend is everything you want it to be, and it's great. Speaking of this weekend, we're talking about a lot of stuff off the field. Let's talk a little bit more on the field. This morning we sat down with head coach Mike Uremovich. We got about a 10-minute interview here, so check it out. Stay tuned. Afterwards, we'll wrap up with our 3 chirps and our listener questions. We have a handful of them here today, so we're going to get to Coach U here. We'll see you guys on the backside of this in about 10 minutes. All right, everyone. As you can see, a very special guest is back with us again. We came on back in the spring after he got hired and got through the spring season, but it's head coach of your Ball State Cardinals, Mike Uremovich. Coach, thank you so much for your time. We know you're a busy man. We know you're getting ready for MAC play to start, but we appreciate your time.
Oh, it's great, man. I'm excited to see Willie out here this week, and I'm trying to get he'll be at the game Saturday, being inducted in the Hall of Fame on Friday, and I put in a waiver at the NCAA to try to get him one more game.
Oh, there we go.
So we're working on that still.
Yeah, we talked recently. Willie's still putting his feelers out there. He's not retiring yet, so he could be looking for some live reps. So if you can get that waiver through, I think he's
I'm trying.
So
I would
Coach,
love that, man.
So Coach, we'll jump right in. One of your big talking points and one of your big things you've been saying to the fans and to everyone out there listening is one of the main goals for Ball State football is you want to be a better football team from week 1 to week 2, from week 2 to week 3. Through 4 weeks of the season, have you seen the team get better each and every week like you guys were hoping?
Yeah, I've definitely seen improvement really in all phases. And, if you go back to the last game, which is disappointing to lose that game to UConn, we did play our best football of the season in that game. Mm-hmm. We were in it at the end against a quality opponent, and the bye came at a good time for us to really focus on ourselves and fundamentals and getting better. And, we needed the bye to get healthy, and now we get into MAC play. So I'm excited to see our guys play on Saturday.
Yeah, and speaking of, going through that non-conference schedule, I know Willie wanted to ask kind of about how you guys handled the adversity so far through that first, 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, every game for us, no matter if we're playing a Power 4 school, a MAC school, an FCS school, our preparation is going to be the same every week. Our focus is going to be the same every week. And, we talk to our guys a lot about it's a one-game season. It's a 1-week season. It really is in football. You can't do anything about the previous one. You can't worry about the one later. And I've said this, I think, to you guys before. I love football because for that 1 week, it's everything you can possibly do to try to win that game. And you're dealing with injuries. You're dealing with a different opponent. Sometimes you're playing an option team. This week we're playing a quarterback that's really mobile. Defensively, obviously Ohio's different than UConn. So there's a challenge every week for us, and we're excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, I know you just started your tenure, and it's kind of been a rocky one. You've been challenged with some Power 4 schools. You had a great win, first win at the Shoe against New Hampshire, and then, like you said, you went up to UConn, played a really tough game. I felt like you guys should have came out with it, and it's just one of those games that it goes the other way. How is the team handling being 1-3? I know you just said it's a 1-game season every week. How is the team actually handling the 1-3 look? Because I know when I was playing, it was always going 1-0 every week. You know what I mean? It's that mentality, whether you win or lose, to have that fresh new mindset going into 2 weeks. So I'm just curious to see how is the team feeling? How are they feeling about this 1-3 start? Is it affecting them? Are they really locked into this week? It's a one-game season like you are talking about.
Yeah, they're locked in. We just got off the practice field about 10 minutes ago, and we had a really good Wednesday practice. And obviously with 2 weeks to prepare, it should be a little cleaner Wednesday than it normally would be. It's the second time going through third down and red zone. And they're locked in. They're ready to play. We really never talk about our record. If we were 3-1 or 1-3, we would approach last Sunday after the UConn game the exact same way. We'd celebrate the positives and try to fix the negatives and get ready for the next game. So, you've played football a long time. Everybody knows your record, and you can't hide from it. It is what it is. but we need to do everything we can to beat Ohio this week.
Yes, sir.
Coach, obviously hindsight is 2020, particularly for those close games. But looking back on the UConn game, is there anything you would do differently in the future, mostly in regards maybe to the timeout situation or being more aggressive before the first half, the end of the first half? Is that something you look back and you're like, maybe in the future I'd go for points before the end of the half?
Well, I can tell you that every game I've ever coached in, I look back and watch the film and am more critical of the play calls I make than anybody could be. And the day that I stop trying to get better, I should stop coaching because there's always stuff to learn. We do analyze. We have actually an analytics company that provides us pregame stuff and postgame stuff. And they rate your decisions. And I don't always agree with what they say, obviously, because they're not on the field in the game. But we talk as a staff on Sundays about every fourth down decision, every time management decision, everything that goes into the game. If you're referring to at the end of to go for a touchdown of the goal line, is that what you're talking about?
No, like at the end of the first half, it kind of seemed like we were just content with keeping the ball away from UConn instead of maybe going for 3 there. And like with 3 points, plus maybe without that pass interference call later that gave them that touchdown, like maybe that is the difference there.
Well, it didn't seem like we didn't want to give them the ball back. I didn't want to give them the ball back.
Right.
I had just watched them the week before or 2 weeks before go down the field in 40 or 50 seconds against Syracuse and get a score. Going into halftime down a score in that game, we were trying to get some first downs and the ball was pinned down there and we broke a big run. And had we got one, we took a shot. We ran a double move and didn't get it. And then at that point, I did not want them to have the ball back again. You know, you look back at the score and you can say, well, the way the score turned out, maybe you should have done something there. But I was happy with where we were at going into halftime of that game. And obviously it didn't turn out the way we wanted. But it is something we talked about as a staff, and I do get everybody's viewpoint. And I would say of the coaches, 90% of them agreed with what we did. A couple of them gave their opinions, which is what I want. I want everybody's opinion on how we can get better as a team.
Thanks.
Coach, I know when you first got to Ball State, you mentioned something about Kyle Kelly and really just trying to get him to come back for his last year. And I think you went down to Florida, you saw his family, you met them, and you really just were invested in Kyle Kelly. What do you see in him as a player, and what do you want to see him do as you start MAC play to kind of take his game to the next level in your offense?
Yeah, he's gotten better every week. He really has. And what people forget about him is I know he's a fifth-year senior, but he didn't play quarterback for a whole year. You know, right. So it's kind of like his first time starting for real, being the guy. Even when he played those games before we got here, he was a backup that was kind of pressed into action. So I expect him to continue to improve as the season goes on. And he has done a great job. He's done a great job with what we asked him to do within our offense. He's done a great job of making some plays with his feet in the pass game when things haven't been there. So I am excited about him, and I'm really excited to see him in the next, obviously this Saturday, but in the next 8 MAC football games we get to play.
Yeah, because just watching him, you could see he's starting to get more comfortable in your scheme, and it's encouraging to see because I know Kyle Kelly personally, and I'm happy he's finally playing quarterback because I feel like he has a lot of traits that are similar to Lamar Jackson, and they're not the same in stature, but the way they play the game is very similar. And I think if you can unlock a player like that, you can really do more with your offense. So it's been encouraging to see Kyle Kelly start to develop and start to get more comfortable in your scheme. And I'm really excited to see how he plays as MAC play comes along.
I am too. And he will continue to get better every week because he works really hard at it, Yeah. And he's going to have a great season for us. He's already done some really nice things, and he'll continue to get better every week as he gets more and more comfortable in the offense.
Yep.
Coach, my next question is about Nathan Voris. How can coaches scheme a defensive player to get more in the mix when a team is maybe running the ball away from a certain player or maybe double teaming or slanting towards or away a player just to try to take Nathan Voris out of the game?
Well, how can we get him more involved?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you can move him around a little bit, but at the end of the day, the offensive line can get up there and they can turn their protection to him and slide to him so it's not one-on-one. And then we got to have the other guys on the other side be effective as pass rushers and get after the quarterback. UConn did a nice job. They did not want our ends and our inside guys to be able to pressure the quarterback. You saw the ball come out really fast. You saw a lot of screens to the perimeter. You saw a lot of quick game. That I hope teams do that, because then, you know, they're losing part of their offense of being able to throw the ball down the field. And they had UConn had a really, really good wide receiver that's an NFL player one day. And, you know, we were able to limit him because of what they did in the passing game. So, you know, football is always give and take. If they really want to double our DN, they can do that every play. That's one less guy getting out in the route.
Mm-hmm. So, Coach, now we're moving on. We're moving into MAC play here. Obviously, Ohio, great team coming to town. But the Ohio Bobcats are not the only people coming to town this weekend. Our good friend and co-host, Willie Snead, is going to be in town. He's getting inducted into the Ball State Hall of Fame. As the coach of the team, as the leader of the program, what does it mean to have, I'll say, a legend like Willie back in the field getting recognized this weekend? Is it like add a little extra juice for the coaches and the players, knowing that some of the people who paved the way for them are going to be back in town?
It's great. I mean, it's great to have one of the, you know, greatest players in the history of the school come back and be around the program. And I want all the alumni to be back. You know, it's something I've talked about through reaching out to guys, and the golf outing that we have is great. You know, some of the alumni stuff that we have with our mentorship program. But, you know, we talk to our players every day, but when we can get guys that sat in those seats as players and went to class at Ball State and were successful as football players back to talk to our players, I mean, that's the best thing we can do, is get them around our guys. So I'm excited for him on Friday night for the Hall of Fame ceremony. Unfortunately, we won't be able to be there. We'll be at our team dinner and our meetings Friday night, but we're going to see him Saturday.
Perfect. Coach, we appreciate your time. Best of luck the rest of this season. And yeah, get back to it. Let's go ahead and let's shock the world, as some people would say, and let's beat Ohio this weekend.
It's going to be it's a great opponent, man. And if you're going to start off MAC play, you'd want to play the champs, and that's what we get to do. So I'm excited to be at home. I'm excited for our players. They've worked really hard the last 2 weeks to go out and perform on Saturday.
Okay, perfect. Well, keep up the good work, Coach, and we'll talk to you again down the road.
All right, you guys have a great day. Safe travels.
All right, thanks. You too. All right. Let me get this fixed back up here. Okay, that was the head man himself, Coach U. Colin had a correction he wanted to make sure he got out there. So, Colin, tell the people what your correction is.
When I was mentioning going for 3 at the end of the first half and saying if we didn't have that pass interference, there was like a 3rd down by the goal line that we pretty much had them stopped. But I believe it was actually roughing the passer or like a late hit out of bounds or something. But that extended the drive and gave UConn an opportunity to, instead of kicking the field goal, go for 7 and get the touchdown that they eventually got. So I was saying, with the 3 points at the end of the first half, plus maybe taking that away and them only getting 3 instead of 7, maybe it's a completely different game. But I was super comforted by hearing Coach U's responses, because I genuinely believe he's doing everything he can do to make us improve, exhausting every option. And I do genuinely believe in his football intellect. So I love the interview. Was super excited to see that. And thanks for letting me get that correction, John.
Yep, no problem. All right. Before we get into 3 chirps, if you are out there and you can hear my voice and you want to get a question or comment in, this is your last chance to do it. So put it in any of the chats, put it in Twitter chat, put it in Facebook, put it in YouTube, and we'll read it here in just a minute. So 3 chirps. Again, 3 chirps are your 3 keys to the game, 3 things you want to see, 3 anything that you want to get out there for the game this weekend. Willie, we'll start with you. 3 chirps for this weekend's Ball State versus Ohio game.
Yeah, number 1 is eliminate the self-imposed mistakes. I feel like every week, either it's offense or defense, we're hurting ourselves and putting us behind the chains, or giving the other opponent an opportunity to actually get ahead in the game. I feel like if we eliminate those things, I feel like we will have a better chance to win the game. Second is create a game-changing play on special teams. Last week, we did a great job of not putting ourselves in a bad position, but I really want to see special teams really make a game-changing play, because I believe that's what will be the difference when it comes down in the end to whether we win or lose. Special teams has to play a vital role in this game, and it has to be on the positive side, not the negative. And lastly, I want to see us win the turnover battle. Most teams, statistically, whoever wins the turnover battle most likely is to win the game. So I really want us to see us protect the football, and on defense, let's take away the football. They got playmakers on the other side. They're going to be trying to get those guys the ball, and when they get the ball, I want to see guys really punch at the ball, create an opportunity in the passing game, and get some deflections, tips, and overthrows. Got to get those. And we got to protect the ball on offense. So those are my three chirps. I feel like if we accomplish these things, we will find ourselves in a position at the end of the game to win the game against Ohio.
Okay. Colin, you're removing a cat from the frame here. What are your three chirps for this
Yeah.
weekend? You're removing a
My
bobcat.
three
Is that what that was?
Yeah, that was a bobcat that just
There we
snuck
go.
into the house in the basement. For some reason, I adopted it. It's
Yeah.
still feral. My three chirps. One, this comes straight from Bobcat Corner, aka STV Castle, that we just interviewed earlier. Run the ball early. For whatever reason, Ohio was having trouble stopping the run early in the first quarter and early in the second quarter. Let's take advantage of that. We got Quay Ashley, we got Kyle Kelly, two elite runners. Let's run it on them. That's my first one. Number two, you could say this for almost any game, but Willie did take mine with the clean up the penalties. So I'm going to say win the turnover battle.
Mhm.
Let's make sure that we get more takeaways than they get on us. Ohio's already got a nasty offense. Let's not give them more chances than they already are deserving of. Now, three, Willie wanted some scoring on special teams. I'm not as optimistic. All I want is let's just not, no mistakes. No mistakes. Keep special teams clean.
Okay.
That's my third chirp.
All right, my three chirps. Number one, and most importantly, had we done this against UConn, we would have won, I think, fairly easily. Get off the field on defense on third and fourth down. We cannot let these teams who have these prolific offenses keep these drives going. If we have a scenario where we can get off the field and get our offense back on the field, we got to do it. We were too bad on giving up third and fourth downs, especially fourth down. We can't do it, especially with these teams, like I said, with these great offenses. So get off the field when you can on third and fourth down. That's my first chirp. Second chirp, coming off the bye, we need to use this rest to our advantage. We've talked to Coach U. He said they were able to get people healthy. They were able to, clean up anyone that, is nicked up a little bit. So I want to really make sure we use that to our advantage. Willie, when you're playing, how good do you feel physically coming off of the bye week?
Yeah, most of the time, guys are feeling fresh. You got 2 weeks to save your legs. Most of the time, the week before or the week of the bye, you're taking a lot of time of, taking miles off the legs in practice. And most of the time, that's in the training room or cold tubs and stretching and rolling out. So I expect guys to feel fresh, really popping out their skin, really just to redeem themselves from what UConn was. I know there's a bad taste in their mouth from that game. I'm sure a lot of the guys thought they should have won that game. So I know they'll be eager to get out there on Saturday and really just trying to turn up the heat on Ohio and just really unleash everything that they've been feeling these past 2 weeks. But they should feel fresh, John. I expect them to go out there and have live legs out there.
Okay. And my third chirp. This has been a central part of this episode. We got to win this for Willie. Willie, this game has to be won for you, just for going into the Hall of Fame at a minimum. So win it for Willie. So get off the field on third and fourth down.
There you go.
What was the second one? Use your rest to your advantage and win it for Willie Snead. We got to do it. So,
Amen.
all right. Listener questions. Let's get into those and we'll get everyone out of here. The first one comes from Donald over on Facebook. Donald says, Willie, how does a player stay focused as a freshman if they're potentially, the coaching staff is potentially wanting to maybe redshirt you at a certain point?
I think a guy, it's tough for freshmen, man, because they're so. I remember when I was a freshman, all I wanted to do was play. But it's a humbling moment, and it's kind of like a guy that's on practice squad in the NFL. You got to find your role on the team and really try to get better at what you feel like you need to get better at. And obviously, at that point in your career, you're there to help the team, man. Especially as a redshirt guy, you're there to help the starters become better each and every week. And in that process, you become a better player as well. So really, when you got your redshirt year, it's a year for you to get better as a football player, as a student. Really, you got to look at the situation as this is a year for you to take advantage of everything that Ball State has. Yes, you might not be on the field, but the way you conduct yourself, the way you handle your business when you're not playing, it's going to show. It's going to really pay off next year when you do get your opportunity to play. Because coaches remember that stuff, what you do when you're not playing, how you act and how you respond. They remember all that stuff. So I would really tell a freshman guy who is in a redshirt position, really just take advantage of every day that you have, man, and look forward to next year and really bouncing back and really building on what you built that freshman year, because guys that really focus on becoming better players as redshirt freshmen, those guys make the biggest leap going into their, I guess, their true freshman year, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
really just focusing on your business, becoming a better player, and helping the guys that are starters, help them prepare each and every week.
Mm. Donald also had something else, not necessarily a question, but he just wanted to say, hey, congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Much love, Donald. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate the question too.
Yeah. All right, we have another Szymborski here. This is Scott Szymborski, big fan of the show. We talk to Mr. Szymborski often. So he said, hey, Willie, his son is at number 26, Lucas Szymborski. Can you give him a pep talk? And congratulations on the Hall of Fame introduction.
No doubt. I remember that number 26. I'll definitely grab him by the shoulder pads, smack his head a couple times, get him juiced up for the game, man. It's go time,
Hey,
baby.
be careful. Lucas is a former two-time state champion wrestler. I don't know how much you want to be smacking him around.
Oh, so he's a big guy. Okay. Approach with
All right.
caution.
Yeah. All right, our friend Jeremy Bryant. I guess this can be for both of you since you're both going to be there. Colin, I guess we'll start with you this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Hall of Fame.
Dude.
What's the spot to eat in Muncie?
Jeremy, I'm so glad you asked because I was just thinking about this recently, texting my old roommate from Stew West. Like, what was that pizza deal we used to always get? Cousin Vinny's
Oh, yeah.
$5 pizza deal. There was like one night you could get a $5 pizza from Cousin Vinny's. And I really want to give a shout out to those places that are making sure the college kids don't starve. Because sometimes mom wasn't sending down $20 for food. You know what I mean? So you really were
That's
like,
right.
dang, I got enough for some Burnett's and I got enough for a Cousin Vinny's pizza. So you got to give some love to a place like Cousin Vinny's. That's where I'm going to go for today.
Willie, are there any Muncie hot spots you're trying to eat while you're back in town?
I gotta hit the Sunshine Cafe, man.
Okay.
I got to. That was my hot spot after every game, man. Like whether win or lose, I was taking my girl there. We was going to eat some pancakes, some good old style eggs. That's the morning after the game. Now, after the game, like the nighttime, 2 a.m., hitting up pizza on the block
Oh, there we
on
go.
Dill
Greeks.
Street.
Yeah, there we go.
Greeks. If you need a good pizza, if you need to sober up, I'm hitting up that Greeks pizza right there on Dill. That was the best times, man.
But that pizza tastes, the pizza by the slice from Greeks at 2 a.m. is like the best pizza of all time. If you get that pizza at 6 p.m., I don't know how great it is, but if you get it at 2 a.m, it's like as good as it can be.
It don't hit the same at 6 p.m. like it do at 2 a.m.
No chance. So we kind of you alluded on some of this, but Jeremy also wants to know, what's the Hall of Fame mean to you? I know you kind of talked about some earlier in the show, but what does it mean to you, Willie?
It means everything, man. I've been looking forward to this week and this weekend. It's just a huge accomplishment, and I'm just so grateful and blessed to be at my age and to be able to receive something like this. Like I said, I feel like I'm supposed to be like so much older and seasoned before I accept something like this. So I'm really humbled, just to go back and to be recognized for something like that. I just think about all of the Ball State legends, from the Dante Loves, the Nate
Blaine
Davises
Bishop.
to Blaine Bishop, like guys that have put their footprint in Ball State football so I can walk in it. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the guys that I tried to represent the best I could. And obviously them inducting me in the Hall of Fame says a lot. And I just appreciate, everybody at Ball State that, that voted me in, because it means a lot. And I don't take that for granted, man. I cleared out my week just to be at this, this ceremony and this game so I can be there to represent the Cardinals and try to bring them a little juice, a little life going into this tough game. But like I said, this Hall of Fame means everything to me. It's just going to be a special moment that I can look back and remember for years to come. So something I always hold in my heart.
I love it. If I ever somehow get inducted in the Hall of Fame from my volleyball career, there I am the all-time unofficial leading serving percentage in all the NCAA unofficial stat. But if I ever get in, we'll maybe do this episode again. So
there you go, man.
Boys, I would say we're done, but we have more. The listener questions keep coming. All right, this is one from YouTube from Jude, who I believe is either the director or the producer of the Together series that we have all been watching.
Yeah.
So Jude,
shout out to him.
Well, guess what?
Yeah.
He wants to know. Do you guys have any recommendations for future together features or content? What do you want to see? What do you not want to see? I'll start here, and then because I know, Colin, you're going to have some
Right.
Yeah.
thoughts here. I'll start. Jude, one thing that I think people would find really interesting if you go into the equipment room and show what that looks like. Show how they do the laundry, show how they set up the field, how they do what they do on game day, maybe packing the truck, stuff like that. I think that would be an interesting thing that doesn't get seen a lot, especially at the Ball State level. That'd be something um, that I'd like to see. Something there's not necessarily anything I don't want to see. The only thing maybe that we didn't see that I would like to have saw was maybe if like something comes up like the travel woes they had in Yukon coming back. Maybe if we could have saw some of that in there. I know we didn't see. I was interested to see what we'd see in there. But yeah, it's a great show. I love it. Keep up the great work, Colin. I know you're a big fan of the show. Any recommendations for Jude?
Listen, if Jude had sent this message before the episode, I would have had 10 things for you, Jude, because together is like honestly the best thing we've been getting. And not to take a slight dig or anything, but like sometimes we're not getting post-game press conferences. So I'll flip on that together again and watch that again. Some of the things I'd like to see, Jude. Eric Weatherly working out, because I know he just won that award for like being the Iron
Cardinal.
Cardinal or something.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I'd love to see a couple clips of players playing the college football game, especially like Kyle Kelly using Kyle Kelly against another player, or a player using himself in the game. That's just such a unique thing that we can just now do. Willie wasn't even able really to do that back then. I mean, he was because they had the game, but it didn't have his name on it.
Mm-hmm.
Players discussing the game and like where they think like what went wrong or like what they could do better, because one of my favorite scenes, Jude, was Kyle Kelly walking into the stadium and he sees Quay Ashley and he's like, Quay, come here. And then they walk into the stadium and they're talking like, we're going to be so ready for the offense because I already know the DC Jeff is going to do his thing and we're just going to do our thing. Like more of those sort of interactions where they're talking between one another. I thought some of the stuff like when they were in the locker room and there was the equipment guys and they were talking about like, all right, we're going to plan what time to be at what place and sort of deal. That was kind of cool. But I want more focus on like those stars because we really do have stars. Nathan Voris, which they touched on already, but more Kyle Kelly, more Eric Weatherly, more Keon Magwood, someone they already see a lot, more Ty Robinson, just those Jack Beebe, Joey Stemler, Darren Conley, more of those big names that we have on the roster that maybe we haven't seen enough of yet. I would just love to see more of those guys.
Willie, as a former player, is there any aspects that maybe the production crew could look at in the life of a player that you might think would be interesting for the people out there to see?
Yeah. First of all, shout out to Jude. I love the show together, man. It's awesome just to get that type of insight into the Ball State football program. One thing I would love to see is just the relationship and the connection between the players, whether that's two guys or a group of guys together. I feel like that's the mold of great teams, is the connection that we have in the locker room, is that type of relationship. And I feel like I would love to see a little bit more of that, just the relationships with guys, how they've grown. But I really don't have anything like major to add, and nothing that I don't want to see, because I feel like all the content that you've given us has been awesome. And this is the first year doing it. So if we're doing a little self-scout, man, just continue to grow, man. Continue to take it to the next level. I know you guys will, because you guys do a great job over there at SportsLink. But at the end of the day, man, continue to put out great content. Make it about the guys. Throw some underdogs in there, that guys that really don't get all the hype and the star-studded, you know, publicity. Like redshirt guys. Give redshirt guys a spotlight, man, because they're grinding, man. Those guys put in heavy work, and sometimes it's not always to be seen. So it's like the life of a redshirt guy, I bet would be appreciative to the fans, just to see what that looks like for a redshirt guy who's, going through that grind and going through that adversity of just not playing, and I think I would love to see something like that, just to see, guys' mindsets and how they approach the week. But Jude, you guys do a great job over there. Shout out to you guys. Continue doing a great job, and hopefully I get I get a moment, just a
Oh,
We
moment.
want
I
to
yeah.
don't
see
need
that.
I don't need a whole 5 minutes. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I was trying my best to get on the show when I was at UConn so I could be the first member of the show, but I didn't make it. Colin, you had one more thing.
Yeah, so Jude's already doing the right thing, watching the show, getting more ingrained in Ball State culture and Ball State podcast. You're already doing the right thing. You're here. You're asking us what we want to see. So we appreciate that. When Willie was talking about redshirt players, what about Szymborski? His
Yeah,
family's
Lucas
a big Ball State
Szymborski,
of the
yeah.
Union supporters. I'd love to see something on Lucas. Now, one other thing I want to see, and this didn't hit me until I passed it, but coach's post game. One thing that stood out for me in that interview with Coach U was he said, we talked about the timeout situation. We talked about not going for the three at the end of the first half. 90% of the coaches agreed with me. What if we got to see some coach discussion post game? Something with a little bit more. I mean, because honestly, like, I don't know that the Western Michigans of the world are going to go and look at it together. They're probably getting somewhere, 100 to 200 views, which isn't bad. That's what we pretty much get. But I would love to see the coaches discuss like the game, like what happened, where did we think we could go wrong, like what could we have done better? Do any coaches disagree here? What are we going to do differently in the future? Like, so maybe they show the final 2-minute drive and like the opportunity to call a timeout before the 2-minute warning and why we didn't. And then like, the clip plays and then boom, here's Coach U talking about like that 4th and 1 call with Keon Magwood throwing it to Kyle Kelly and how he had the balls to call that in 4th and 1. You know what I mean? So just some ideas there, but I'd love to see more with Coach U, maybe getting a little bit more specific into how I called this play up, why I dialed this play up, or maybe why I didn't do something, and then you got the clip, and then boom, Coach U sitting there talking about it. I don't know. It's already great already, but he's destined for greatness. I mean, he's doing this in college. Like it's hard knocks quality. They're gonna come in and swoop him eventually. Somebody's gonna come and swoop him eventually. Keep doing your thing. And the one thing that's not getting enough credit, he's doing this every week.
Mm-hmm.
To
Yeah.
do this every week is, man, we don't even know. I don't even know how impressive that is. Like, but the real techie dudes, the guys who do this for a living, like the hard knocks guys, they'll know. Like, this is a really impressive feat for this young man to be doing this in college. He's still got classwork and he's still delivering every week. So Jude, shout out to you, man, for real.
Yeah, Jude. When the show wraps up at the end of the year after the 12th week, let's get you on the show. I'd love to have you on and pick your brain on how it all went and kind of everything went into it. So we appreciate the question as always. And then last one, Colin, I'm gonna start with you on this because me and Willie ended up at Ball State for a specific reason, and so we'll give us a second to think about it. But so for all three of us, so Colin, we'll start with you. What was your favorite part about Ball State besides the sports, and why did you choose to go to Ball State, basically?
Yeah, my favorite thing about Ball State in general was just how it felt really like a blue collar school. Like you didn't have to have money to go to Ball State and have a good time. Like, yeah, there's those kids driving Maybachs around, maybe two of them, but we all knew who they were. You didn't need to join a frat. Like frat percent was like 8%. You just had to come, be yourself. You could walk into any party as long as you weren't on something weird. Like people are gonna let you in, people are gonna meet you, be nice to you. I didn't feel like it was super cliquey. It wasn't like, oh, this school really just has like posh, well-off kids, or this school is really has this. It only has this. Like, no, it felt like whoever you were, if you were a nerd, you'll find friends. If you were a guy that wanted to go and meet up and play Super Smash Bros. In the Super Smash Bros. Club, they had that. And yeah, I went to it. It was fun. Anything you wanted to do, you could find that. You could find the people that were good people. It was just real blue collar. Like nobody was a better than anybody. Like frat guys, okay, you're in a frat, you hang out with people that are in a frat, good for you, but we can still be friends. Like, we don't have to do that. It's same for sororities. I just love the laid back feel of it. The campus wasn't too big. I can walk from one end of the campus to the other without, being out of breath or being like, oh man, it's going to take 30 minutes to go to class. And I really got a great education. It set me up to go and get my master's, to be a better person, to form me into the man that I wanted to be. Really, I can't say enough good things. Ball State was really like formative in my life, and I'm glad I went.
So for myself and Willie, obviously much more obviously for Willie than me, but we ended up at Ball State to continue our athletic careers. But Willie, what was maybe your favorite thing at Ball State outside of the athletic side of it?
For me, when I first took my visit, for me, it was really like I think Colin touched on this. It was the campus. For me, it was a beautiful campus, and a kid from South Florida. I never been to Indiana, so stepping foot at Ball State to me, it was just like something just out of a fairy tale. I mean, that's kind of extreme, but it was just that beautiful. And when I took the walk on campus, it was it was really nice. The outdoors, it's just like you said, Colin. It wasn't too big where I couldn't get anywhere, and I was like. I feel like I had to walk an hour to get to class, but it really was an awesome campus. It had great people working there, people that actually cared for you and cared about your education. It was a university, but it wasn't huge. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just big enough to where I felt like I was at a prestigious college or university, and I could do some great things here. So that was kind of my favorite part, and why I chose there was just I saw the potential. Ball State was continuing to grow. The football program itself was growing, and it was looking for players to come in and make an impact. And at the time, I just felt like I could really do amazing things here. And Ball State offered me so many pathways I could have went. But I chose sports management, and I met a lot of great people. And it was the people that really invested in me that I just appreciate the most. The people that work that at Ball State really have some great people working there. And, I'd always appreciate the people that helped me along my journey.
Yeah, I would say that a sports management degree has worked out well for you. You had a pretty lengthy and lucrative career in sports, much more so than I ever did.
Much
So
more to come, though.
that's
Believe
true.
that.
Say we're not done. So for myself, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but my favorite part about Ball State outside of the athletics was kind of what these guys said. It's a big enough school where you're not going to be running into the same people nonstop. Like you're going to you can meet and see new people pretty much every day while you're there, but it's not so big that you're just inundated with, never seeing anybody, and you're always in different spots. Like, Ball State being around 20,000 people, you go down to, Bloomington, Indiana, that's double the size. The campus is way bigger. You're driving everywhere. You're taking buses to class. You're doing all types of stuff. For a Ball State, you get on campus, while it might stink if you have to walk from the Cooper Science Building down to the rec center for a sports management class. That might stink, but it's not that bad. You can get there. You can make it. And yeah, it's a big enough place where there's tons to do. There's lots to see. There's lots, of things you can get involved with, but it's not so big that you just kind of get swallowed up and lost. So that's kind of my favorite thing. And then, like Willie was talking about, why he went there. Obviously he went there to play football. I went to Ball State because they're one of the only schools out there with a Division I men's volleyball team, and being from Indianapolis, there's not, that many players from Indianapolis who play at the Division I level. Division I is different in football and basketball with men's volleyball. Men's volleyball only has about 60 Division I teams across the entire country. So having one up at 90 minutes up the road and a very prestigious program at that was something that really drew me there. And I wasn't on the team right away. They basically kind of told me, "Hey, come here, and we'll get you on the team eventually." So I came as a freshman. I played on the club team. So again, they had a club team there you could play on, and we were really good, actually. Not want to brag, but I was the only freshman on the national championship club volleyball team my freshman year. So shout out to me for that. But,
Hey.
But then that led for me to be able to get that opportunity on the Division I team. So that's kind of my main reason was, I wanted to go there and have a chance to, play volleyball. And I did that for a little while, and it was great. And then here I am 15 or 10 years later, talking Ball State football to, 150 people right now on a Wednesday night. So
Great question.
that's where I'm at. Yeah, great question. Great question. So, all right. That's all the listener questions. We appreciate everyone sticking with us and getting those in there. That's the most I think we've ever had. It's our biggest audience we've had so far too. So let's get through the schedule this week, and then we'll get everyone out of here. Again, we appreciate your time. So schedule this week. Colin, are you going to be hosting the Twitter Spaces after the game?
I don't know if I can because I'll be at the actual Ohio game
Okay.
and celebrating with Willie and whatnot. So I don't know if I can this week, but next week I will for sure. After the Western Michigan game, I'll just be driving back down, and then I can do it in my car. So that's completely fine.
Okay, perfect. All right. So probably not any Twitter Spaces. If for some reason it pops up, everyone out there will see it. Just jump in and join the conversation.
Mhm.
Post game show. I know we talked about this a little while back, but I'll remind you guys as well. It's going to be Monday night this week. I'll be on a cruise this weekend, so I won't be. I'll be out of the country on Sunday. But Monday night we will have our post game recap like we do every Sunday, but it'll just be Monday evening, probably around 8:30 time, just so that everyone can be there. So that is the schedule for this week, and that is going to do it for this edition of Ball State of the Union. Again, a big weekend ahead in Muncie. Go out there, support the Cardinals, help pack the shoe as Ball State looks to pull off the upset against the Ohio Bobcats. And of course, again, we've been talking about it all night, but congratulations to our own Willie Snead being inducted into the Ball State Hall of Fame. Special time to be a Cardinal fan out there, everyone. We got a new coaching staff. You know, MAC play is starting right now. Everyone's excited. Get out there, support, use those deals. $20 for 2 tickets. Get out there, and it's going to be a great weekend. So if you enjoyed the show, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on all of your favorite social media platforms. Colin, do you have one more thing, actually?
Lastly,
Okay.
guys, we got 132 people watching on Twitter, but we only have 257 subscribers. Something's not adding up. If you're not one of those subscribers, make sure you go over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000. Help us out
Please,
here.
guys. Come on, man.
Keep it coming. Yeah, so that was my
Support
last
the
thing.
brand.
If you enjoy the show, make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and keep the conversation going. Keep on tuning in, and we'll be back again Monday night to talk about whatever goes on in Muncie this weekend. Until then, chirp, chirp, and go Cardinals.